Hello everybody, this is your Mayor Hawk, and today I've decided to do a quick video in another one of our Paragon Explained series about building decks. Last time we covered what the cards are. Now I want to go into what do you do with these cards. So for the sake of today's video, I'm going to create a Fang Mao deck. So the first step when you're creating a deck is to choose your hero. And in doing this, you got to be thinking about what do you hope to accomplish with this hero. With Fang Mao, I'm hoping to be in the jungle and I want to be vicious. I want to be hitting hard. I want to be critting because that's the way I like to play. And so we're going to select Fang Mao. We're going to create. And your first option is your Prime card. This is the card that's activated when or if your team captures Orb Prime. So it's a pretty important card, but also at the same time you're not guaranteed to even use it every match, so don't spend all day long deciding which of these cards to choose. Now with Fang Mao, we know the biggest part of our hero is we want to be hitting hard. So if we were building a tank, I would pick the Centurion card. It's the only one to give health, but since we want to be hitting hard, that leaves us with the options of the Archmagus and the Warlord. So the Warlord, what makes it different, they both give 60 power, 100% bonus damage, but it reads 100% bonus damage versus minion to minions. So what this means is the nearby friendly minions will deal extra damage against enemy minions. So you have to be near them to get that buff. Or the Archmagus is the same thing, except for your minions get that extra damage against towers or inhibitors. So you gotta choose when you get Orb Prime, what do you think you're going to be doing most? Do you think you'll be going after tower most, or what have you? The Archmagus will be better for if you can take down the Orb Prime and instantly get under a tower or an inhibitor. The Warlord would be if you're going to get Orb Prime and then you're going to push a lane. So which role do you think you'll take the most? For my first time with this Fang Mao deck, this one, I've had Fang Mao decks in the past, but for this one I'm going to choose the Archmagus, and we'll see in part 2 of making your deck, not part 2 of the video, but your second thing to think about is as you're playing, you got to be thinking about, is this deck working, is this card working, and make changes. So that's one of the things that we can come back and change later and choose a different Prime card other than the Archmagus. So our first thing when we come into our deck, we have 39 cards to work with because we already used one of our slots with the Prime card. So again, you got to be thinking, what do I hope to accomplish, but what do I hope to accomplish in the early game? I'm hoping to be in the jungle, fighting jungle minions, and not dying against the jungle minions, because that is very embarrassing and instantly loses your team's faith in you if you run into your first jungle camp and die. So we're going to choose the Brawler Scythe, which gives us a unique passive of a plus 15 damage in our basic attacks to jungle minions. So in this, I want to build low-cost cards, low-cost upgrades, because I'm ultimately going to be discarding this card to complete my build. This isn't going to be in my final 6 cards for 60 points. So it's a 3-cost card, so it's going to take all of my initial card points when we start the game to get this, and I'll get plus 6 power, 30 mana, and really plus 21 basic power. So I get plus 15 damage in my basic attack to the jungle minions, which is what I'm going to be using the most at the start. So I just want to make it so I can fill out this card and get the extra 6 fast. So I'm going to put in 3 minor casts. That'll give us the ability to put 18 additional power into this card, and with the fully upgrade bonus, that's 24 plus initial 6, so we'll be getting 30 power, which isn't fantastic, but it will do in the early game, and we're really looking for that plus 15 basic damage to the jungle minions. So that's our first thing that we're going to put in. And now I got to think further. Do I want to put in another possible early game card or get started on my 6 for 60? So I personally like to, after I get that one early game card, my first buy card out of the way, because that is a very important card, I choose to start working on my 6 for 60, and then I can see what am I left with at the end, what possible adaptation cards I need to put in, cards that I will put in if my enemy is building a deck that is just a counter for my deck. And so we'll see with where we are and see if we can get an extra early game cheap card. So with Feng Mao, I personally like to build crit, and I just like crit in general in the current meta. It's very powerful. So I want to go down the line of making crit. And so how to tell what your cards do, they have the emblems along the bottom, and then when you highlight over them, you will see what they give you. And so I can see already that Spear of the Rift Hunter will give me an 8% crit chance when it's fully upgraded, in addition to the 4% it already gives me. So that's 12%, and we want to be critting often. So in this card, I want to build 3 wounds. Each wound gives you 8% crit chance. So if we put in 3 wounds, that's 24 crit chance, plus the original 4% off the card. That'll give us 28, plus the 8, that gives us 36. That's pretty decent off the start. So I like to build the vast majority of my crit at once, because if you're just getting a little bit of crit chance at a time, you're not really going to see it enough to see the benefits. So along with building crit, you want your attack to be strong. You don't want to only have crit, because if you crit an attack of 50, then you might be hitting for 100, when you can very quickly build base damage and you'll be hitting harder. So in my next Spear of the Rift Hunter, because we still want to get the crit bonus off of it, our ultimate goal is to be critting as often as possible, I want to build either 3 strikes or 3 casts. Remember, strikes and casts. Remember, strikes and casts are the same now, and so they each give us 12 power. So when I put in the 3 strikes, that is 36 power plus the initial 6. That is 42 power in this Spear of the Rift Hunter. So between these 2 Spear of the Rift Hunters, remember this one, we build our crit into it, and the card itself, initial will give us 4, plus another 8 from the fully upgrade bonus, so that's 12, plus 24, so we're getting 36 crit bonus out of the first Spear of the Rift Hunter, and then we will get another 12 out of this Spear of the Rift Hunter. So for 48% crit chance, that's about half, a little less than half. So about 1 every 2 hits should crit, about. So now I want to look into building some cards that will give me a power boost, because remember, if you're critting on a weak attack, you're still not hitting that hard. You'll hit a decent attack. And another thing that is very useful with Feng Mao is attack speed, and that's useful with pretty much all of your damage dealers. Hit hard, hit often. And so in this, I'm again going to build 3 strikes. Or maybe not. Let's stop and think about this. So 5.5 attack speed buff, that's not a lot. But remember, the purpose of this card isn't really to give us that attack speed. We want to be getting the power out of it. So let's build... Yeah, let's try it. This is our first time build. If we decide we need more attack speed, we can come get more. And so we're going to just build it with straight power. That way we get the 18 out of the card and the 36 out of the strike tokens. That'll be giving us an additional 54 power to the power that we're getting out of our Spear of the Rift Hunters. So we should be hitting hard. And plus at this point we might still have our Brawler Scythe if we haven't had to discard it in order to finish one of these upgrades. So we have 3 of our 9-point cards. Another second to explain that, I covered that in the last video, but in case you didn't see it, what I mean by a 9-point card is it's 3 to buy the initial card and 6 additional card points to finish the card for a total of 9. And remember, we want to get 6 cards for 60 points at the end, because 60 is the grand total of card points we're gonna get, and 6 is the amount of card slots we have to fill it. So we have 3 9-cost cards, so that's 27. I want to get 1 more 9-cost card, and then I will start on my 12-point cards. Now we could build more crit, but really I think we'd be ahead to continue building power and maybe a little bit more attack speed. So let's pair a Whirling Wand with our Wind Carver Blade. Remember, Wind Carver Blade starts us with 6 power, 5.5 attack speed, but gives us a fully upgrade bonus of power, while Whirling Wand will give us a fully upgrade bonus of attack speed. And in this one we could build more attack speed. I really want to be hitting hard, so let's do a 2/2 cast. That'll give us 24, so 30 power out of this card, and we'll throw in another kinetic, well, a kinetic, not another, and that'll give us 27.5 attack speed out of this card. We should be hitting pretty fast once we finish the Whirling Wand and the Wind Carver Blade. Alright, so now that we have that built, we have our 9-point cards, our core 9-point cards. Let's take a look at our 12-point cards. Now we're building crit, and whenever you build crit, you should build crit bonus. So crit bonus is additional damage when you crit. And so we have a couple options of that. We could build the Blade of Agora and get more power and get that 100% crit bonus, or we could build Hunger Maul and get some lifesteal. Now we aren't currently building anything that will help us sustain. So with that case, I think I am going to build a Hunger Maul because we will be taking damage. And we want to keep it to 12. So we're going to put 3, 2, 1 for 6. And 6 makes 12. And let's look at the lifesteal we'll get out of this. 2.5 plus 7.5, that's 10, 15, 17.5 lifesteal out of the Hunger Maul. So not bad. We might want to build a alternative lifesteal card in here, or some health, or maybe even some armor options. So we'll keep that in mind as we're building our backup cards. It'll really depend. If we can stay ahead of the enemy, our damage will be enough for us to sustain. But if we get behind, or if we're staying even with them, we'll want some sustaining cards. So we'll keep that in mind when we're making our alternative choice cards. And so now there isn't really a point of getting the Blade of Agora because we already got the 100% crit bonus. We can't get any higher than that. So we want a 12-point card that will give us some benefit to the strategy we're playing, and a bonus that we would like. So Sword of the Altar is out because the bonus it would be useless to us. Stasis Gem is something to consider because we would become immune to damage and crowd control attacks 2.5 seconds, but would be unable to move, attack, or use abilities. So I'm going to pass on Stasis Gem. A lot of people really like this card. We might give it a try in the future, but not this time. We either want to build more damage or more health. I think Bounty Stalker would be a good one because we will stack additional crit chance against enemy players while building power and a little bit of health. So we could put some health options in this card. So let's do with this one. And so I think how I want to build it, I think I want to give myself the choice to build it either with health or damage. So let's do a 3, 2, 1 of damage and a 3, 2, 1 of health. And then we can even mix and match. That gives us a lot of options there, and we will be getting that bonus either way. But we got to remember when we play it that the only way to build this card is a 3, 2, 1. Either we could do the major cast, health and lesser health, or we could do greater health, health and minor cast, or we could do greater health cast and lesser health. Any combination of that, so long as we put 3, 2, 1 in it to get to 12. Otherwise we won't be able to complete our build. So it's something to keep in mind. We gave ourselves options, but hopefully it's not also a way to sabotage ourselves. So now we want some alternative choice cards. We're going to be critting often. We have our crit bonus. We're hitting pretty hard. Now we might want to put in a way to stay in lane, or stay out in jungle, or just survive the ganks. So we could put more lifesteal in, or we could build some armor, or we could just build straight up health. And it might not be a good idea to have a ward, because as a jungler, it really helps to know where your enemies are for gank opportunities, and to make sure you're not going to get ganked. You know, if you go for the Raptors, or you go for Orb Prime, you want to know that they're not going to run in there, steal the prime, steal the raptors, and kill you. Or you want to know where they are, so you know if someone's overextended in their lane, for you to go in and take them out. So let's look at getting a ward in here. What's the Lord's Ward do? And this is something that we would pick up at any point, so we'd like for it to coincide with our strategy, but also possibly act as that alternative card. So we might have some options there. I'm not really seeing one that's like just jumping out at me, as in I love this choice. I wish they had more power and health together cards, but I think they'd be too strong. Everybody would just use those cards. So I think that's why you see them most often in separate cards, is just to make it so people aren't just building tanks that have tons of health and damage. So that's probably why it's that way. Taking a little too long to decide. We wanted to get health, so let's grab the Lord's Ward. Ooh, and we had some loading issues there. That's a first. And let's build it light, in the hopes that would be an early game choice. We have 4 card points to spin. We could get one more alternative card, or we can pick up some tokens to help ourselves. We really can't do both. You know, we might. What is the Brawler Scythe? Additional power, but not a lot. We'll try it at first with the Brawler Scythe. We might eventually trade it out for the Beastmaster's Scythe. It'll really just depend on how it goes for us in the future. And let's see. We'll throw in a health potion if we're getting. Yeah, we'll throw in a health potion, 2 strikes, and a cast. Health potion will give us a little bit of sustainability, and instead of the health potion, I like the instant. I'm an instant gratification guy. Let's get the bump juice. It instantly restores 85 health upon use, and it refreshes at base. We get 2 charges of it, 15 seconds apart. I feel pretty good about that. And so this is so now you guys saw my thought process as I build a deck. You saw when I came in, I had a goal. I knew I wanted to jungle, so I knew the role I wanted. We'll explain roles more in a future video. And so we came in there knowing we wanted to jungle, we wanted to deal damage, we wanted to hit crit, and we wanted to have some attack speed. So we built that in. We are equipped ourselves with a Scythe, which will give us a boost in the jungle, a ward so we can see where our enemies are, crit damage, a little bit of attack speed, lots of damage straight up, and some lifesteal to sustain. And we gave ourselves a little bit of option in that Bounty Stalker. Instead of options, we could have gotten another alternative card, and that's something that we will figure out as we play this deck. That's my biggest key when you build a deck, guys. Version it. Like, you're gonna have version 1, your first attempt at it, go out and play, see what doesn't work. If you're like, man, I'm critting a lot, I just don't have enough base damage, or I need to be hitting more attack speed, or I need life, I really need more life, then come back, edit your deck, and try again. That is the best way to become a good deck maker, is to make decks often. Also, feel free again to check out YouTube. There are building guides out there, but you might not have all the cards that they have, so it helps to just get used to trying out new things. See the thought process. Hopefully this helped you guys out, seeing somebody make a deck. And now I just want to challenge you guys, go make your own decks. Let me know how they go. If you want me to, if you want help choosing your deck, please leave comments, ask questions. I really want to just help guys get started in Paragon. I love this game. It is a super fun game, and the card mechanic, it really adds something to this MOBA that doesn't exist in others, and it's really fun. So please drop a like and subscribe. Oh, one thing I forgot to show you guys. You can name your decks, and this you do it up here. So where this says Fang Mao, wish he said Fang Mare, Fang Mao number 1. So let's change this to Fang Jungle V1. So As you saw, not very many of my decks sport the V1 title. That's because most of them have been tried out, or I just threw them together quickly because I decided I wanted to try out a different hero before that game. This one, Feng Mao, is a character I loved in Legacy, haven't really played him at all in Monolith, so this is my first real deck with Feng Mao, and hopefully from this deck we will derive better decks in the future and we can get really good at jungling with Feng Mao again. So, like I was saying before, please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you want to see some more Paragon content, and tell me in the comments what you'd like to see future in the Paragon Explained videos, and I'll see you guys next time. I've been your Mayor, Mayor Hawk.